Okay, go ahead. Well,
Sure. What? Wait, me to start?
Well, why don't we just start, Laura, let's all introduce yourself so everyone knows who everyone else is.
okay, so the chair has to start the meeting.
That's me.
Yep,
Okay.
so you call the meeting to order, date, time, where we are.
This is a meeting of the Airport Development and Committee. It is June 21st. And we are in the Ocean Shores Library. Meeting is beginning right now. We'll start with introductions. Scott, you want to go first?
Scott Anderson, the city administrator for the city of Ocean Shores.
I'm the Lord, I think I'm the newest board member here. Mike Mandela, Assistant Fire Chief.
Richard Sires, Chairman of the Airport Advisory Committee. Oh,
Bill Capron, maintenance guy for the airport committee.
Jerry Dennis, second newest guy on the.
Stuart Green, member of the committee.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'm Sarah, the city clerk.
Okay, we're done roll call. Approval of the meeting agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Old business. Anyone? Okay. The new business. Discussion, item number one is roles and responsibilities. I'd like to start the ball rolling here by what do we call ourselves? Airport Development and Operating Committee, but sort of loosely, it's been the Airport Advisory Committee. I imagine we should go by what is in the city documents, and we are the Airport Development and Operating Committee, the ADOC. Any discussion on that?
I agree, it should be what's in the city documents, just to not churn that kettle.
Okay. All right, so that is now determined. And under roles and responsibilities, after we got that, it was gonna be led by you, Scott. So, yeah,
Well, so this roles and responsibilities is huge, but basically what I'd really like to get initially is, the board and so. We kind of have wanted like a day, month, year oversight. What is it we have to do on this sort of basis? And then what is the responsibilities of the board? And then what things do you think should be left to the city? And this, I'll preface this by saying that Sarah Bisson was the airport manager for a number of years, and then she left, but in her process of leaving, there wasn't a lot of transfer of information about the airport itself. So the city obviously has this airport. There's huge questions. Does an emergency plan exist for the airport? For just day-to-day routine maintenance, who's taking care of these types of operations? Just a whole list of things that the board, I guess, has traditionally done, so I can understand that better. And where you say, well, this is where we really need the city. And the city would be responsible for these items.
okay. And obviously, there's gonna be overlap with Century West and their set of responsibilities regarding the airport. It seems to me from the meeting, and just to bring everybody up to speed, Century West is the, wrong, Scott, is the company that the city contracts with for interface with the FAA and anything that comes to and from the FAA, money especially. But when we had our meeting with Century West on June 12th, it seemed, my impression that the day-to-day maintenance of the airport was city responsibility. So I'm talking about mowing grass, changing light bulbs.
Yes, okay, so mowing grass, I know we have a schedule for that. Changing light bulbs, and that's where I have to ask the question. Does that mean changing light bulbs inside the structures or out on the runway itself? We have like, Cause I was understanding that was being done by the board. This is just exactly what I want to clarify.
Okay.
So,
I think and anyone can jump in here, because I'm making this up all along. I think what we're talking about is anything inside the airport fence line.
okay,
So. As far as I know, there is no list of maintenance items. I don't think that's ever been developed. Bill,
I can jump in here a little bit, because I've been
Okay.
involved with this for more than anybody. Before Sarah, we had Carla, I believe,
okay,
and Carla actually had quite a bit of paperwork that she generated to go with the airport.
okay,
So Carla really liked the airport, Sarah not so much.
okay,
So, so you might look for that, okay, as far as to get some more information from what's going on. When I got involved with the airport, it was about 2008. That's when we had the big recession and nobody had any money. And the
Mhm.
way I got involved is that the lawn wasn't being mowed at the airport. Grass was taller than the taxpayer reflectors,
Mhm.
so you couldn't see it. I went in and had a conversation with somebody at Public Works and said, this needs to be mowed. And they told me that they didn't have any money, and I said, yeah, I know, money's tight, but it's a safety thing at this point.
Mhm.
I go into the FAA office, tell them you're not mowing, they'll come and they'll stand right where I'm standing and say you have to mow it. I'd prefer to not involved. And I came back 2 weeks later and they mowed it. Yeah, which was good. So, as far as lighting, of course, anything inside the private hangars is their responsibility. But, as far as maintenance and stuff, I try to keep on top of that. I'm probably in and out of this airport 30 times a year. So I have a home here in Ocean Shores, a
Mhm.
business and a roundhouse, and so I'm pretty well invested in Ocean Shores. But I live in Renton, so I fly back and forth. When I come in and check the lights, change the light bulb here and there, and clean things, and I just try to stay on top of that kind of stuff. So,
if you're in here 30 times a year, you must be real good.
oh yeah. I've, I've scared myself once or twice, but never been enough. So,
So I guess our point is, if you're not here tomorrow, we still don't know what the maintenance and operations is.
exactly.
So having a, right,
Right.
so having a list of, like, these are the things I check when I fly in,
So I should probably meet with a public works guy.
Well,
this is the.
this, I mean, yeah, just we talk, so there's, yeah, if you help me
Yeah.
draw up a list of
Uh-huh.
what needs to be done on a regular basis, then I can give that to Public Works, we can go over to you.
Yeah.
The question is like, your plumbing, I've never got called out there for anything until just recently. Plumbing breaks at the sink's not working right, the pilot's lounge.
Yeah.
Someone's just gotta let me know that, right now, no one's letting me know.
Yeah.
What maintenance is needed. And
Exactly. What's the contact point for,
that's what we have to, that's kind of the
Okay.
big picture for this
in
meeting.
case of difficulty, call this number,
Exactly.
so.
Well, all we need is, well, first off, and Bill does an awful lot of work out there. I've done some of the lighting work myself also, not as much as you do. You're much more dedicated than I am. But, I'm not talking about inside the building, talking about the airport.
The average, right,
And there's, a lot of discrete things. There's the runway lights.
Yep.
There's the remote control activation system for the runway lights.
correct.
There's the light on the,
Bossy.
Windsor,
windsock. That's
Mhm.
it.
yeah, the happy lights, and
There's
there's.
the taxi light,
There.
and there's the airport beacon lights.
So the whole time I have been here, I've not received a single call from anyone saying at the airport beacon lights. The only time I've been alerted to any kind of issue, and this isn't a fault thing, I'm just saying, how do we communicate this so when it is out, I know about it.
First off, let me ask, what is the progress towards actually having a designated airport manager? City employee airport manager?
So. We're refocusing again. So the
No.
airport manager is not like the super big topic. The big topic right now is we have something happen out there. You two who are volunteers, not paid employees of the city, are the ones that have been on the hook essentially for these things. It is the city's responsibility to have a list of maintenance items that are scheduled out to go out and review, whether that's review it with you or talk to you about it, or hey, I went out and checked this because it's based on the list. That's all fine and good. It's the list. The airport manager is not gonna be doing that stuff.
Okay,
That would be the
so-
airport manager's job.
But that's what I'm saying to you today, right now. The airport manager's not gonna be doing that. We're in a whole different world now, where everybody's helping with everybody's duties. It will be Public Works doing the maintenance. That would be scheduled based on the list that's.
What I should do is meet with a public works guy who's gonna be fixing this if I'm not, and show him how to fix it.
That is,
Okay.
once we have that list, then we will task the person.
So I can check him out and show him how to fix it all, I can put it on his list as we go. So,
Well, I'll just give you like an actual example. So this came to me, not long ago. And it was, from Motion Info. And, they reached out to us because one of the boxes needed to be rebooted, that receives the DSP, the DSP. And we just had to go out there and fix it. And I don't know if that's the type of thing that, was the first time I've ever.
now what kind of box are you talking about?
I'm trying to remember the name, like the OSP box, or it's one that's inside the pilot.
It
line.
shows traffic, yeah.
Yes,
I have
exactly.
nothing to do with that.
You have nothing to do with it. Okay, so. In the past, who has that? Is that, because Century, don't know.
No, I was the one that was the point of contact that match ended up being,
Okay,
and got that installed.
okay,
It's part of a national system
yes.
that tracks,
Yeah, they're based out of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and also tracks vessel traffic, if you're interested in that. Then you
Okay.
can see that. So apparently it wasn't working, they wanted to get somebody to get in there. Okay, it's,
It's been fixed. It's working, it's online now.
yeah, just what needed to be rebooted.
It just needed to be rebooted, yeah.
Okay, well, I think we got.
Bottom of rates, it's their responsibility to provide a new one and send it to us. It's a plug and play system.
Yeah.
Okay, it's one item on the list that Sarah's talking about.
Mhm.
And I think the agreement is settling here that all of those maintenance items that were done on a volunteer basis by this body are now going to transfer over to the city. It'll be city responsibility to take care of everything inside the fence line according to the list, which will be developed and become the responsibility of Public Works. And that list will be developed with the help of Bill and whoever else. So how about Bill, you take action, I'm get together with Scott, come up with the beginnings of the list.
Mhm.
We'll take a look at it at the next meeting. And it's on the bottom of it and we'll take it.
Okay,
I can certainly make a list of everything that's out there that I maintain.
I don't want to bog anybody down here, but I need some context. To see if I could add any. Did we check the landing fees?
No,
So it's an absolutely free airport to land and take.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
That, okay.
okay. And,
I don't tie down fees either, that's voluntary.
I was pretty much told by Century West, and I wish they could be on this call, this first meeting, that. The city's level of liability is almost no different than that someone lands a Moses. But I don't know that. Are you?
There is a state law, and I haven't read it,
Mhm.
but basically it says that if your airport's open to the public, you're on your own when you land there.
Yes, that's what I was told.
Basically what it says,
Mhm.
whether I have 3 acres in my backyard and I mow it nice and flat for a runway, put a
Mhm.
windsock up there and I use it for myself. Somebody else lands there, they're on their own.
That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Because we're not commercial.
Exactly.
Okay. Did you get that, Sarah?
Yep.
Okay, so Scott, you think that satisfies item one, roles and responsibilities.
I think it says in item one and to some extent, item two.
Yeah,
When there's repairs that need to be done, I just need to have someone from the board contact me, letting me know. Because, you know, public works crew is not out at the airport unless they're scheduled for routine maintenance.
Yeah.
So anything that comes out of the open, I just need a point of contact, or the board lets me know. And says something is broken, something's not working, and then we can get it fixed.
Reach out to me, you know.
Okay.
yeah, well, I suggested it actually say on this list,
Mhm.
rather than just a, 20 bullet points. It has some paragraph at the top saying that, although this is all the responsibility of Public Works, Public Works is not gonna do an hourly check on it either,
Correct.
so.
Yeah.
Like a disclaimer.
Yeah, there's gotta be some sort of a alerting mechanism.
Most things at the airport are backed up. For example, the beacon has two sets of bulbs in it. So if one of them burns out, it switches to the other set.
Right.
So the, there's more than one light bulb at it. The PAPI lighting, the approach lighting, that has, 6 bulbs and you only need, each unit has 3 and you only need 1 in each unit.
Mhm.
So there's a lot. Runway lighting, yeah, you lose a light bulb here and there, but you're not gonna lose all 48 of them.
Right.
So it's, and like I said, I keep a pretty close look.
The,
Oh, and
the,
so also, would there be also a public works responsibility to keep the materials inventory stocked up?
Spare, yeah, I let them know when that stuff gets low. There's quite a bit of inventory. And recently the windsock was worn out. And
I have your check.
good.
I have your check.
Forget me, come and get it. But the windsock was worn out. I went out, put the new windsock on, because there were 2 on the shelf in the cabinet. We ordered the wrong stock. I figured out what size we needed, and I just ordered it, put it on my Visa card and sent a picture of the invoice, and they cut me a check, which she has.
Okay.
So,
So that's fairly straight. I think that's fairly straightforward.
but yeah, and I don't mind doing it. When we volunteered, we went out and we painted the runway stripe and the numbers. Well, we didn't have quite enough paint. I went up to the hardware store, bought more paint. They sent me a check for it, so I don't have any problem. And I personally think that most people in the city, you start talking about the airport, and airports get nothing but complaints.
Mhm.
So there were some dogs at dog parks, and people look at an airport like this as a rich guy's playground. They don't look at it how it can contribute to the community for, if we have a big disaster out here, the big tsunami that's coming next week, 'cause we haven't had one for 200 years. The first thing they'll do is they'll scrape off the ramps, so they have a place to sort all the stuff that shows up, and then they'll try to get a place to land a helicopter or something like that. So that will be one of their first areas that they will clear up.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
It's not really, it's not big enough to land a C-130 yet,
Mhm.
but still, a lot of stuff can be landed at Bowerman and be shoveled over by helicopter.
Mhm.
So there is part of the state's disaster plan. That airport is in the disaster plan.
And we'll talk about that when we get to item 5, I believe. It's, and that'll kind of let your,
That's why I try to keep our costs down. We volunteered and painted the runway because the bid for it is huge. So, there's 4 guys out there for 4 hours telling
yeah,
jokes and painting them.
All right, so we got a good beginning on the separation of responsibilities.
I think so.
Between Century West, the city, and this committee.
yes.
So next meeting, we'll come back with that list, copies for everyone,
Mhm.
and we can take it from there.
Sure,
And I think that kind of takes care of operation timeframe, because once they get that list.
yeah.
He'll
that'd
be able to he'll be able to task his staff to,
But it needs to be
Oh,
done.
so that's what you meant by item 3 then, operation.
yeah, out of those maintenance responsibilities and repairs.
So that has to be done quarterly, what has to be done on a monthly basis, what has to be done.
Like if you flew in every day, what would you look at? by the week, what would you look at, what would you want us to be looking at daily, weekly, monthly, annually, and so I think that goes with.
Mowing
this
schedules.
list.
If the lawnmower guy can quit hitting tax reflectors.
Well, he's gonna take care of that.
Okay, all right, so we got, one is done, two is done, three is gonna be fleshed out on that list.
Let me put
So
my-
2 and 3 is
Wait a
done.
second.
Stu? Yeah,
And it's kind of repeating myself, but if a pilot from anywhere flies in to the airport and notices that there's something wrong,
Mhm.
light is out or something,
Right,
who does he call?
it's that should probably have the city's number.
that should be on the bulletin board in the pilot's lounge.
Yeah,
Well,
Well, it's also gonna be it's also in the, what do you call it, the documents.
AFB, facilities directorate.
yeah, and Scott will be
And,
listed.
yeah,
We've talked to Century West about that.
Mhm.
Scott will be listed.
Okay.
no, because that's who they're gonna look in there, and that's who they're gonna call.
okay, so that's gonna be my number, and that's what we decided we'll do, and then I'll be the liaison with Century West when we have issues. And if it's simple things that need to be repaired, then that's when the public works will repair it, but it could be, we could have both, we could have electronic things that aren't working, we need to know that if they fly in, or we could have a situation where it's just, bolts are out.
Yeah.
It's dark in the pilot's
Which means that actually somebody's gonna have to, Bill,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna have to train some folks from Public Works. on
Yeah, and
Actually train,
Yeah.
Willing to do that.
Mhm.
and they probably, in that case, probably need more than one person trained.
We probably will.
Well, and we have various, like when you have your list, it'll be up to Scott because we have specialty people and
Mhm.
random crews of public works, so.
The stuff beyond a light bulb, there's certain things out there that need adjustments and settings and all that. Although pretty much stays, we all instructed, it stays with itself. Yes, Century West about, what about this PAPI system? We're having this issue with it, and, oh, that's really old, just get a new one. Well, but they're 50 grand for a new one, we don't wanna spend that money, so.
Right.
So it's,
I mean, a lot of it we can get from the FAA or annual grant,
the parts are still available, the books on how to do it, it's all there in the pilot's note, so.
All right, so we're done with items 1, 2, and 3.
Wait, I do have one more question, because you brought up an important point, like you said, you were going out and painting the runway yourself, and that's with prevailing wage. It doesn't have to go through all these processes, but now it will. So to a little bit, because I haven't, your budgets, how are you? Like, what I'm really asking is, like, the next budget, should we be requesting more money as the cost of these things are gonna
Well,
go?
we're gonna know about their grants and different things in October.
Okay,
So-
all right. Then I guess they're in it.
The grant we get from the FAA, from my understanding, cannot be used for maintenance.
Yeah, it has to be used for improvements to, and that's your guys' 5-year plan that's in this deal, but you have maintenance money that just gets reallocated and.
Yes.
Yeah.
is that, and can we get, I forget, I know the FAA
I
grant is
see what
for
you're saying, though, they're not doing
improvements.
it.
Yeah, that's-
But not the actual maintenance itself. So if I can, well, not repairing the things, we can build a new thing.
Yeah, it's like you can replace a Vassy with a Pappy, but you can't get a new Vassy. I think that's why they changed the names of them. So.
We're gonna be talking this in item 6 and 7,
Question.
but I want to move on to item 4, which is the big gun.
We have a question.
Well, I can wait. I was gonna bring it up later under new business, but since we're talking about FAA grants, has anyone on the committee or members of the past committee ever considered or applied to get an IFR approach into this?
First thing you need is weather report.
Getting AWAS?
In 2027, it says. If I did that wrong. In 2008, that's what I asked for, was an AWAS. Nothing.
The answer is that's a big bite to take. And I think there's, other things in front of them.
It's would allow life to get in here under the conditions.
Yeah, they taken the Bowerman. No matter what approach you got here, you are not gonna get low enough as Bowerman with a GPS down to 200.
Out here, it would seem to me the best we could do is the GPS approach.
And probably only down about 800 feet because of the length and width of the runway.
But for some, just as Mike knows, it takes an ambulance out of town.
Mhm.
But I understand that.
So it's all about prioritization. But we'll get there.
Yeah,
Well, putting an ILS down,
There's only 7.
We're not gonna get an ILS soon.
not in the next year or 3.
You're not, we're never gonna get
Well,
runways.
not if we think that.
What we didn't talk.
Well, there are FAA requirements for the different kinds of different flavors of ILS. So, that is a complicated.
And a hugely expensive lighting system and on.
Yeah, and like Bill said, it requires an AWAS, which is in the budget and the plan, so one step at a time.
That one step at a time.
Okay, let's move on to appreciation day planning, item number 4. Anybody in favor of that?
And
All right. Scott, you're up again. What's appreciation day, August 24th?
August 24th. And I know that Sarah Bisson led this sort of last year,
No, they don't have one.
or did you do not have it last year?
no, we haven't had one since COVID.
You haven't had one since COVID, okay. I assume you're wanting to do this, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so One Airport Appreciation Day, what, again, what goes into it, what was the board gonna do, what do you want the city to do?
All right, what we've done in the past, just to bring you up to speed on everything.
Okay,
We contact local car clubs, get a car show going.
okay,
We've had North Beach Paws out there and they'll, support them. One year they brought a couple dogs with them that people can see what animals they have.
Mhm.
We've had the ham radio guys. We've had the RC Flyers, the model airplane
Right.
guys have been out there. We try to get it advertised, which has been a weakness in it, that it hasn't been well, spread around to all the different airports.
So we have signs the city can put up.
Yeah, well, we had the Burma Shave signs for but they disappeared, been misplaced, don't know.
We have this check, can we go down the checklist?
Yes.
We already.
This list, if you should have a copy of it, is the list of actions that were developed, 2 meetings ago regarding appreciation day. So let's just go through this real quick, because I think that everything we just talked about is on here.
Special event permit is done. The median signs are being ordered through the convention center with a design. Do you wanna just go in order, or do you want me to check all the ones I've done?
What I want to do is just go through them very quickly and make sure that we've got a complete list. Then I want to go back over them in more detail one by one.
okay,
All right, so next one, event safety plan.
Yeah, I've got a preliminary.
You got a preliminary?
Jerry and I are gonna get together and go over that.
and
Okay,
then you should probably go with that, if she comes up.
yeah, I did send an email to
You did
here
say
that
that, and then,
okay, okay, so we got to work that. Beach Boys, what's that?
that's the
The
car.
car club.
Oh, okay, anybody made contact with it?
Actually, the mayor did, and they were happy to be there, so.
All right, so that's in work. Update event sign.
That's the sign that's going to have the same kind of design as the median signs.
We had a banner we kind of like fence there, but.
So we're trying to,
The banner is,
Is it still in there?
we're gonna do a new.
Yeah.
Display.
So that one is that's one that I'm working on with, his name's Jim Hummer, I don't know if you all know him. Jim Hummer and Keitha got a grant last year, year before, for historical scanning, documents, everything, so they have a lot of things that they've already posted here and there, or shown me that they had in the airport.
Okay.
And the vision was to take some of those things, make them bigger, and like put them out there to like give historical things along.
There are some of those in the pilots.
Okay,
They're already there.
Yeah.
We'll come back. to
so we,
that. Ed Duncan, the car museum, I did talk with him. He said he's gonna be there, gonna have one or two of his cars there. Number 7, contact Washington Pilots Association.
that's something I still have to do with that. So,
Okay. List on.
We've had PNW flights around the Pacific Northwest. It's a
Okay.
Facebook group.
All right, we'll talk that.
that was,
Contact Toledo Skydive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that still something we're gonna do?
Toledo Skydive, they,
my name is on this, but I could have swore that it was Stuart that was doing this,
No, I never was.
cause I don't know anything about that.
Well, it was very valuable. So when I saw Sarah with an H, I thought this is Sarah with Sarah in business.
No,
And
it's.
historically.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
so I'm happy to find their number and reach out. I don't know how,
They will want money.
oh, well, that'd be up to you guys.
yeah.
Well, let's talk that when we come back
Do we have
to
a budget for that?
issue a NOTAM. Well, obviously, that's gotta be done,
Yeah,
so that stays on the list. The Ham Radio Club,
they're confirmed. right after our last meeting,
Can
I
we go back to the NOTAM?
we're gonna go back through the list one by one.
right after the last meeting, I reached out to Chief Ritter, who Kurt Bagley, kind of helps with that, and Avert, and they confirmed that they'd be there.
Okay, radio station,
They're confirmed.
okay, contact, North Beach Falls, get some doggies there.
Haven't done it yet.
Okay, but it stays on the list. Concessions. Stuart?
Well, concessions, I took the meeting and, get somebody to sell hot dogs. And the VFW is committed to doing
So
it.
we're getting in front of you right now. That's concessions.
Young Eagle flights.
Well, and there
Um,
was one, okay, wait, sorry.
we've done Young Eagle flights in the past. My problem with doing Young Eagle flights nowadays is that my network has got to the point where I'm a target to be sued. So I can't buy enough insurance, so I personally do not fly Young Eagle flights anymore.
What's a Young Eagle flight?
You take a 8 to 14-year-old kid up for an airplane
Oh,
ride
gotcha.
and expose them
That's
to the
it,
wet
that's an
aviation.
EAA thing.
It is an EAA thing.
Yeah.
The EAA does provide some insurance to it, but
I'm gonna put that as a maybe.
I'll reach out to
Pilots-
EAA and ask them the 20 questions,
Isn't there
get them to
requirement-
send me something.
Isn't there a requirement now for the pilots performing this Young Eagle flights? The pilots have to go through a vetting process now.
Yeah, I call it a pedophile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so anybody, anybody that volunteers their airplane for that, generally they get reimbursed for gas.
Well, no, you don't get reimbursed for anything. The EAA came out with, some point, somebody told them they were exposing themselves by backing up guys that you don't know what they're gonna be doing, and well, how can you be in an airplane, it's gonna be in an airplane alone with a kid, but you're flying, I don't know, but so they sent out you had to pass their test, and I refer to it as the pedophile test.
That one might be more trouble than.
But they put the test out and their pilots pretty much just refused to do it. So the whole program fell apart. So then they revised the test and the test became more of a joke than anything. It was, you know.
Okay, so
If you
there's a
check the wrong
possibility
box,
that's-
are you sure that's the answer you want? And then you true and false, yeah. So it was, but yeah, the whole Young Eagles thing is, it's a difficult question, but I will reach out to the EAA and I will ask them, I will ask them where they're at on the Young Eagles.
And and is there anybody even in the area that wants to come do it?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, the Ocean Coast Fire Department, you guys gonna be there?
Yes, they're confirmed.
Okay, EAA participation. You know, the EAA, It stays on the list, but it's probably gonna be a bit right there. Shelton EAA, RC flyer demonstration.
They're
Uh,
confirmed.
Okay, all right, let's go back through this
Can
now.
we add one thing to the list?
Sure.
Back when this list was being developed, I think in the last year or so, we talked about helicopters.
Yes.
In any event, I have gone to the guard, I've filled out their paperwork. I've made it through the first 3 layers of the bureaucracy. Approvals. And now we're down to the third and final layer, which is the unit commander deciding if he can commit assets that day. That's where we're at. And I've asked for an H-72. Which is their smallest aircraft these days. I think that'd be the easiest to handle and park on the ramp. For a thing like this. Black Hawk, yeah, maybe, again, size wise.
Right, anything else that we wanna add to this list?
You had National Guard, you said another thing as well.
Lifeline.
Lifeline, that was.
Has somebody actually approached Lifeline?
I think I put that in the original email to Chief Ritter, so I could actually check on
Also
that.
about Airlift Northwest, because they're here,
Who?
Airlift Northwest.
One or the other, yeah.
Coast Guard.
Now see if we get them to do a flight line or something. They've never been willing to commit aircraft to sit in the ground.
I'll actually just do a follow-up with you if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's easier.
Okay,
For Lifeline and Air Northwest, yeah, we'll just make you the.
I'll just send an email out for this.
Taking it from the top, item number 1, special event permit and median signage. What is that, Sarah?
So that special event, we have to, anything that's done on city property that's like a congregation of things or something like that, a special event permit has to be filled out, has insurance and all that, so it's in one nice package. It's never been done before, which is inappropriate. So I actually get those now from other places, and so I'm just gonna fill it out on behalf of the
Okay.
airport, committee.
All right, okay, so that one is yours. And it's successfully in work.
I already have it completed, so it just goes through its
Already
round.
done.
I don't want it to go too soon because then people don't put it on their calendars, public works and stuff, so.
Safety plan, item number 2. Yeah, obviously that stays on the list. It is an item that is going to be between.
Perfect.
That'll be done, separate meeting.
It'll actually be, all airport committee members will be involved with that and I'll get a nice drawn up plan where posting and movement areas and non-movement areas and
That'll be, something too to include with the special event permit that we send out, so whenever you guys have that done.
yeah,
So
so
all committee members-
nobody gets hurt.
Mhm.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
All right, who's gonna be involved in developing this plan? Obviously, the chief here.
Well, I think Bill just said he's gonna lay everything out, didn't you?
Say it again,
Did
sir.
you say you're gonna have everything laid out as a plan?
I've got the plan that we've used in previous years.
Yeah.
And, Public Works brought us a stack of highway cones and we put those out.
Do we still have those out there?
No,
They reclaim it.
pick 'em. But that's okay, they'll bring us another 30, 40 cones. So,
Stuart, you wanna be part of it?
As much as I can, I'm gonna be gone most of July, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want input. You know how to reach me, Bill.
okay,
I'll be part of it.
okay, absolutely.
However, if the event itself. We've made travel arrangements on.
And if we're lucky and we get actually the aircraft come in and display, we need to designate, and I'm happy to do it. Who's gonna ground guide the aircraft in and stuff.
Right.
And you'll have your radio.
I do not have.
Okay, the city
Yeah, go.
at one time had a radio,
Which. Okay,
portable aviation band VHF radio.
we probably still have it. Somewhere, it could be any number of places.
Portable,
It's a handheld thing about yay big, and Sarah Bison,
This, yeah.
Bison seemed to have access, as, you know, anybody, if I wanted it, I'd call her and get it, and so on, and Carla also. So it might be somewhere around her desk.
I don't recall that being handed in.
If you don't have one, go onto the Aircraft Spruce website. You can get a pretty good one for about $400.
Okay, well, we'll either
We'll look for it first.
respond with, we found it, or we'll get one.
Mhm.
Yeah, Aircraft Spruce, they're the big dog in, like the general aviation community. They sell everything.
Pretty much.
Perfect.
I referenced 40 times now.
Even if it's almost,
Yeah, get it from Sporting Products,
as long as it's backward.
All right, so the safety plan, that's, we'll get an email out.
Amazon.
Do you want to schedule that meeting? For the, together in the safety plan.
Well, can I see the draft first?
Yeah, that's how it's just, but you can work on the draft.
Yeah.
See what days we have.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna send it right now.
And then we can, when we have the next meeting, we can go over the safety plan. We can add that as part.
And then I can add it to the permit.
Okay,
So basically, it's a document.
And you said it's already in the counties, that part of it, you were talking about is in the county emergency hazard plan, the airport is incorporated.
the airport itself is in the state's disaster plan.
Okay,
Or they had a big event up there a couple years ago, 3 years ago.
Mhm.
They were at Bowerman and they were at Westport and Ocean Shores, and they looked at all the facilities.
okay,
I kind of a little upset at Sarah because she knew it was coming, but she didn't tell any of the airport committee, and you know, it would have been nice for us to be involved in it, just to see what the state thought and what we thought.
right,
And beyond the bureaucratic parts of all that, you know, the report committee has what, between all of us, 150, 200 years of experience in aviation and working with the FAA and stuff. So it might be nice if the city entities would contact us, and say, well, what do you think of this, you know? As opposed to just Century West,
We already did that.
who really doesn't
Started
have a problem,
with-
but
So we took our very first meeting and invited Richard as the chair to that, so he's speaking for the
Yeah.
board when he goes to.
because obviously we want,
no, I mean, not in that respect. Again, that's getting back into the bureaucratic and whatever. I'm just saying that something comes up. You know, hey, what do you guys think, you know, what do you think of this missive we got from the FAA, or what do you think of anything, you know? To talk to us and see, From our-
They may have told us to fix it that way. You know, I had the FAA one day, the signage out there has to be frangible, so if an airplane hits it, the sign breaks. Okay, well, the grass is grown up high enough that they couldn't see the cuts through the floor, just to make them frangible. And, yeah, they all work, 'cause I made sure that, so when the new post got put in, I had my little skills notches in it. These, but they couldn't see it any, it was there.
anyway, but so. You know, if you get little messages from the FAA about various things. Yeah, without feelers, and you talk to them, you say,
Yeah, we couldn't know.
in your experience over the years, you know, we had a thing. What about a year ago, or whatever, with the. RC flyers. And. There was, you know, an issue, you're kicking them out, you know, kick them off the airplane, whatever. And the FAA said, you can kick them out because of this, and they cited one of their rules. Well, nobody actually ever went and read the rule, I did. Of course, this is after the fact, and the 4 RC flyers were gone, but nobody actually went and read the rule itself that they were citing. It did not say that we gotta.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
You're aware that the rule didn't actually say that?
Yeah.
So
It was an
that,
advisory comment. It was not,
Yeah,
I'm aware of it. We've met it.
So interfacing with this, Century West, yeah. I think the city's aware, you guys are aware that if something comes up that you really don't understand, we are the body to go to. And, you know, I can represent it, if any one of these other guys can be represented in that meeting. For instance, the last meeting, which is the first one I've been to, nobody understood what an AWAS was. So I explained.
Century West didn't understand.
And they're the people that we're paying money to be our collection.
Well, at least what it did, but you know, I don't think they'd ever actually heard one from cockpit, so. No. All right, so the safety plan, and that's right, the Beach Boys, that's the car club, right?
Yep, the mayor already spoke with them.
Okay. So are they committed?
Yes, confirmed.
Okay. And, update event sign.
That's the same thing as the median signage.
Yeah.
Everywhere that there should be signage or whatever the signage is for, we've updated it.
So that's done.
And that big sign that goes on the fence out there at the airport, I don't think that actually has a date written on it anymore. You know, so it
Yeah, I
can
know, I'd have
be,
to
it can
look
be
at it.
reused.
I've looked at it for years.
Yeah, and it's
Where is it?
in the past, it's rolled up. It's about the size of, well, twice the size of one of these tables, length and height.
Yeah.
So I guess get on the fence.
Yeah, we
Just zip tie on a bit.
You wanna take a look at it, Bill, see if it doesn't have.
Yeah.
The date 3 years.
It'd be nice to have a new one, though. It's been recalled the wind had beaten that one.
Yeah, I plan to get a new one either way, just so everything's uniformed and
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't actually put a date on.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That way we can just use it over.
It could be, you know, because it goes up like a week before, so you can say. Airport Appreciation Day this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Right, historical photo display, Sarah, what's going on there?
that's the one where I'm working with Jim Hummer, Keith, Bill said there's some already in the pilot's lounge to get them blown up so that they're out there on
Okay,
however you want to display them.
We have some pictures of the original airport.
Yeah, there are. There's a picture of the.
Yeah, the one that was like over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, the one that was,
Yeah,
the
sure.
good one, it was close to the ham,
You landed on
and it was close to the hamburger stand, they were really good hamburgers.
that was prior to 1984. Didn't Century West say that this airfield was built in 1984?
Set the documents stored in my hangar.
Something like that, but yeah.
What was the original?
The golf course.
It was,
The golf course out there was the runway. And,
You parked the plane, you walked over to the.
that's what, that literally is what
February 19th, 1984.
but that's where Pat.
That's when they moved.
Reason the people to buy lots. Right.
Okay, so the photo display is in work.
This is the permit to move the airport. So you got to read.
Duncan and the car, his car museum, I'm speaking with him, that was in work. Contact Washington Pilots Association. This connects with the rest of the advertising. I've got a couple of items here regarding advertising, Sarah. There's the Washington Pilots Association.
Yep.
There's the Daily World.
Yep.
There's the Ocean Observer.
Yep.
General Aviation News. Any of you guys get copies of General Aviation News?
I don't know if they're still sending out or not.
Okay, the upshot is all of.
Yeah.
The library gets it. All of these. All these publications, need notification of what is gonna be there. So looking at what the facing items are here, we need confirmation from these various organizations.
We need to write a press release for this.
So that we can write a press release and we could make some sort of a brochure that can be distributed around the local pilots lounges. Now, I'm willing to fly a grand tour and go, up to Everett and down to Arlington and, spend a day distributing these things in the various pilot towns. But I can't make that brochure until I know who's gonna be here. So the pacing item is to get, urgently is to get confirmation from these various organizations.
Well,
So,
I think that you had, except for this EAA, Young Eagle, Lifeguard and Lifelight, everything
Else was already.
everything else, I have already confirmed everything that I was assigned to.
okay,
The ones that are still listed are ones that I'm not assigned to.
So, and pause should be relatively straightforward.
okay, so the Washington Pilots Association. What else are you gonna contact, Sarah? What do you want me to contact?
I can't fly places,
Well,
so,
no, I mean, no, I mean, once we have the brochure,
yeah,
I can fly around and distribute the
Mhm.
brochures.
so
But I can't make the brochure until I know who's gonna be there.
well, I can't make the brochure until I know who's gonna be there.
Okay,
That's the thing, I know all of the ones that I was a part of, that my name is next to on this list, have confirmed.
okay,
The ones that you're going through are lifeguard or life flight, those aren't confirmed. The EAA participation, Young Eagles flight, ones that you need to know, everything else is confirmed.
National Guard, we need to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
National
that's-
Guard.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do with them, I will continue to reach out and say, did you decide, I was planning on doing that, well, next week, actually, end of the month.
Okay.
Which is, at that point, 2 months out. Yeah, and then I'll do it again the following month.
I'm happy for
And I also
clarity's
told
sake.
them, hey, if you don't wanna, if you can't do a helicopter, whatever. You can bring a 155 millimeter cannon if you want.
To take all these things that have my name and shoot you an email that says confirm, 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 confirm.
we could do that. There's actually two things here. There's the confirmation of who's gonna be there.
Mhm.
And there's the advertising.
Yeah.
Now, in the advertising, there's the brochure,
Mhm.
which I can deliver. And then there's contacting the Daily World.
Those things are all things that I do every day, so.
Okay, Daily World,
Yep.
Ocean Observer.
Mhm.
Okay,
This fat PNW, because that will be a part of our Facebook advertising that we do. Because we're gonna do our own Facebook advertising, and it'll be on the city website, Livers News. Then
Sure.
those things get shared everywhere.
General Aviation News.
What about,
That's the one she just,
KOSW.
yeah,
No.
that-
the ones in the radio stations in Aberdeen?
Jadesha broadcast, they charge you.
Not if you make a public service announcement.
They'll charge us. This isn't a public service announcement.
General Aviation News.
That one I don't know about. I'm happy to look it up and send them whatever they require.
Library's got a copy,
Okay,
so there's probably something on this page about
Okay.
who to get a hold of. What else have we got? Washington Pilots Association, Wings. Yeah, that's their newsletter. That's just digital now. I can get a hold of WPA.
okay.
And what about local radio station? KSW?
Yeah, I've already talked to Butch, so he said as soon as I get him all the information, he'll start. He can actually do it with very little information. He can just give a shout out, like ham radio will be, he doesn't have to have every single person.
They've got a remote from the event in the past.
And as we add people, which can do a shout out.
Yeah. That's
If we
fine.
get the National Guard, committed, then he can add to the shout out, and there'll be a guard, a helicopter there, for the national.
So we could do just to get it rolling. Sometimes the city will do this where it's a coming soon, to try and get people to put it on their calendars or, we like do an event, like you see them for the town hall and stuff, cause those like go on people's personal calendars when they click going. So we can start putting information on an event.
Have they ever gone out there? Have they ever been out there physically? Okay, let's go.
Yes.
And would you like that again? Is that?
I think Butcher's
guy-
already planning. on
Okay.
doing-
You know, he interviewed me for a while, then he wandered.
Yeah.
I'm a radio guy, and then he talked to him, and he, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the radio station, Sarah, you got that one, that means it work. Let's continue down here. Contact Toledo skydiving.
I can give a call if you want. I don't know if it's really willing to pay, they want to charge so much, right? They're gonna want. I have brought it up, that, it could be advertised. They've kind of chosen Ocean Shores for their once a year appreciation jumps. But they've been out here the last 2 summers, and they spend a couple of days and they do lunch. They bring a helicopter.
Yeah, they have used them.
Like this, I don't know. Not personally,
They just need to move that event date to the same date as our appreciation day.
it's not.
Well, we're gonna have to be noting.
Yeah.
Who is issued the notice?
I,
Okay, and you got all the contact information.
yep, and I have something too for you guys to know, and I know it's a little bit off subject, but everything that was archived by Carla, cause you brought it up, and Sarah Bisson, has now been scanned and digitized. So we'll be able to go in and see if like that document exists, but all of the how-tos and the documents that they've had over time are all now digitally archived.
Just personally, I don't think I'd be willing to pay them very much to come, if they want to come out and be a mutual benefit for themselves.
Yeah, it's give them $500 to. I think the one year that was the plan, we we're gonna pay them, and then the weather didn't cooperate, so they didn't come, but.
But right now, Jerry, why don't you just, give them a phone call and see if they're interested and. All right. Good, we'll put your name on that one, Jerry. Next one down, issue a note and. Sarah, you've got that, right?
Correct.
Okay, now regarding issuing no Tims, there's gonna be. And help me out here, guys, there's gonna be a few pieces to this, because there's gonna be more than one no Tim.
Mhm.
Skydive is gonna be there, that's gonna have to have a specific time. Attached to it. If the airfield is gonna be shut down because the RC flyers are gonna be doing their thing. That's gotta have a specific time attached to it. Um, And this will all be part of the safety. plan.
You'll need an additional, expect congestion due to airport appreciation.
So I would think, Sarah, if you're the one who's gonna be authoring the NOTAMs, you're gonna need to know a week ahead of time. Exactly what these NOTAMs are. What all the, have you ever done that before, NOTAMs?
Nope.
So you should get with one of us. Sit down at your desk and. Get one of us to sit down at your desk with you and write the note.
Yeah, and maybe bounce it off the Century West to make sure that we got it all legally brushed. Because the abbreviation list for NOTAMs is like hundreds long.
I don't think Century West would have a clue, and they'd certainly bill you for the time to tell you.
I'll do some drafts and I'll,
All right,
Yeah,
And get with, get one of us.
But it'll all be based on the safety. Okay, so we'll do that.
Well, the NOTAM thing is, an ongoing thing. If we were ever gonna paint the runway specs again and stuff. We could issue a NOTAM.
Right.
Instead of being out there painting and dodging things.
just do it in the fog like we did it last.
yeah, but you have to remember that the pilots don't read no paper either. So.
So that's something that we just ask a question for clarification. Is that something that goes to Century West and Century West gives that to the FAA or? how does that-
No.
No.
Goes right to.
goes right there.
So there's no intermediary. It's just the city.
Yeah,
Literally.
you can go to look up other airports, NOTAMs, and you get an idea of how they're written and phrased.
And I believe if memory serves, she has drafts of the NOTAMs saved, so.
Yeah, the requirement is that notice to airmen's are supposed to be read before anybody takes off. As
Gotcha.
a pilot, you're supposed to know where you're going and read the NOTAMs.
It's the phrase all, you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
know all information.
You have to, avail yourself of all information.
All.
Yeah, you know, and you get notice for all, there's notice for all kinds of things, like when the president comes to town, you know, there'll be a note out saying, and Boyne Field is closed to traffic for 5 hours around the arrival and departure. You know, some VIP thing going on.
So if you see an F-16 on your wingtip, you know you missed the NOTAM.
Yes. The trick to that is slow the airplane way down and get down low.
All right.
F-16 will have to go around and he'll be burning kerosene like there's no tomorrow and he can only stay there for about 20 minutes.
Ham radio,
Confirmed.
that's confirmed.
Yep.
And radio station, we spoke about that, Sarah, you're able to have a chat with them. North Beach paused,
I will reach out to them this next week.
concessions. That's it.
VFW is doing that, Stuart?
VFW is committed to that, we'll continue to remind them that they committed to.
Who's doing it?
VFW.
Want to get it? Or food truck.
Well, if you wanted a food truck. I would suggest that.
Mr. Cow.
Yeah, Grizzly Den.
Mhm.
Who does,
Mama's. Short Boulevard.
they have a food truck?
Or,
Yeah,
yeah,
Raleigh, Grizzly Den, all three that you
I was
see.
gonna say Grizzly Den, but, better to shop local as far as I'm concerned.
The BF, you know, the VFW, this is kind of a big fundraiser, for them. They've committed to it before. Although the Hoquiam EAA did it the first couple of years. But I don't think the Hoquiam EAA really exists anymore.
Yeah.
The Hopium EAA consists of me and John, one or two other guys who, yeah, we don't do.
Start doing Young Eagles flight, as soon as you get your credit bill.
Okay, right on it.
Yeah.
So food trucks, there was a suggestion on the table to, get a hold of, Galway. What was the other one?
Hot Mamas.
Mamas.
And they're,
Of course, if you got the VFW selling hot dogs, how much food do you want available? That big a crowd that we could really support two food selling entities.
We've never advertised like this before, I don't think, either.
I,
Yeah,
not on this kind of. There's no possible way, because the last time you guys had it, we didn't even have our
yeah,
web design or social media or any follow.
yeah, that was still pre-COVID, it was an ancient website. And we have a lot more activity on the Facebook, a lot more activity on social media. They can read it.
Okay, well, I don't think it hurts to get a hold of Hot Mamas and Galway, as long as they are told that VFW is gonna be there as well, and, you know. It's their play and what show up.
so yeah, so we got to tell Callaway, always, they're not allowed to sell hot dogs. It's something different.
Okay, so there's an action, who's gonna get?
I'll do it.
Okay,
I missed what you said.
Who is gonna get a hold of? Thomas and Galway Bay and.
Everything on his phone.
Okay, Young Eagles flights.
He said, I'll do some research with the EAA. I'll call them up and find out just exactly what, but I think that's just gonna be scratched. We did that on Flag Day one year. After the Flag Day parade, we did Young Eagles flights.
really?
The mayor at the time was not very supportive of it. She thought we were putting the city at some type of liability, and I said that we're just taking people for a ride from the airport. She almost threatened to have me arrested. Did it. I said, well, make sure you invite the newspaper. So, and actually 2 police officers brought their kids down. So.
I remember that.
And, we flew a bunch of kids that day. I think I flew 30 kids.
Crystal had fighter days.
Yeah, so.
Well, regarding the Young Eagles.
But there's something about the EAA with Young Eagles that they don't like it to be part of another event. I remember that, not the check, wanted to be a standalone event.
Well, look at the procedure.
I'll see what I
Wait a
can.
minute, you're in the EA, you're in the EA.
Long time member.
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
not a damn thing.
then they send me a jacket.
So
Yeah.
Get a t-shirt.
Melanie from Century West is online for, the task item, so I don't know if we wanna keep
That,
going.
that might be good, because I need to get that back to them.
All right, so let's jump to that.
Yes.
Getting her to just listen to us talk.
Oh, okay.
So it's item,
7.
6 is the introduction to her, if Scott wants to take over from here, and then we can go through 7. Melanie, can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Can you see us? Because we can't hear you, and you don't seem to be muted.
Oh,
Maybe we put her to sleep.
she can.
It says mute there in the top corner.
No, that's
It's
mute.
me.
But what we could do is do a quick chat, Melanie, you're there, just in case.
She's connected, but she's not.
That's, yeah, just in case it's on her end or. There we go.
She is.
There we go.
I see somebody.
Yes.
She's there. Can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Just wait a minute, she says.
Yeah. Starting with the birds. Are we connected here, Sarah?
Yep, she can hear us, but she's getting her, audio.
Okay. And the discussion was gonna be item 7, the 5-year capital improvement plan.
Correct.
Right.
And also number 6.
Yes,
Six is just the introduction.
that's just an introduction.
Okay.
Same as what we did.
Yeah, okay.
You got it. All right, thanks.
What's up with that?
I do. I hear you. I hear you. I did hear her.
Heard something. Now she froze.
Now the video's frozen.
Okay, well, while Melanie's sorting that.
That was good.
Right, yeah, who got it?
Different computer.
Motion.
Can you hear me now? Yeah?
Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
Okay, so I believe item number 6 and 7 on our agenda here. You were going to yourself, Century Western, what you guys do, and then we were gonna talk about the 5-year capital improvement plan. So what do we got?
Okay, yeah, so I'm Melanie Johansson. I'm a project manager with Century West Engineering. And Century West does, we do public works engineering for municipalities, ports, airports. So we do a lot of roadway and utility projects for various cities, and we do a lot of airport work. So I think it was about 4.5 years ago that the city of Ocean Shores selected us for a 5-year on-call. So basically, whenever you have a project at your airport, we are on call to get under contract for that project. So that's kind of the way the FAA sets up projects that they fund, is that they want you to select an on-call consultant. And every 5 years you would redo that selection. So we've been working at your airport for a little bit. We've done a few projects out there to, do the obstruction removal that wrapped up about a year ago. And before that, there was a bunch of environmental things we were working through. So yeah, that's kind of our role, our history at your airport. And then we are currently in the open season for putting together our capital improvement program for the next 5 years. This is something we have to do annually, and we send it to the FAA for their review and coordination. And it basically is outlining the projects that we'd like the FAA to fund for the next 5 years. So the one that I think is attached to your agenda is kind of what we worked on with Sarah Bisson last year, which would be first doing an AWAS project for the next couple of years, and then doing some repairs to the perimeter fence. So ideally, we'll kind of keep this same program, but since we've got new people, wanted to get everybody's input on whether this is still what you want to prioritize, or if there's things you want to tweak or change on this before we submit it to the FAA again.
And could you also speak a little bit about the funding that we should hopefully get back for the board?
Yeah, so so non-primary airports, which would be most of the general aviation airports are non-primary, typically speaking. So they get what the FAA refers to as non-primary entitlements, which is $150,000 a year that you can use towards your capital improvement projects. In order to remain eligible for those entitlement funds, you have to have at least 10 based aircraft at your airport, and show that you have $750,000 of upcoming capital projects. So a couple of years ago, when they took the snapshot of based aircraft at every airport, Ocean Shores had dropped below the 10 based aircraft. So for the last couple of years, you guys have not been receiving your non-primary entitlement funds. Before Sarah Bisson left, we were working with her to get your based aircraft numbers up. I think that Sarah got those back up around 12 or 14. So you should be able to, if we get the CIP submitted, and also show that you have the $750,000 of projects, that plus your based aircraft should put you back into the eligibility for those non-primary entitlement funds. So we're anticipating that you'll get those again starting in fiscal year 2025. And those funds can be saved up for 4 years before they start to expire. So you can save up for 4 years, have a maximum of $600,000 to do a project. And then after 4 years, if you haven't used it, the FAA will basically take it back. The other thing that's shown, if you look at the spreadsheet that's attached to the agenda, the other funding that's shown on there is referred to either as AIG, Airport Improvement Grant, or also known as BIL, Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. This is funding that was passed a few years ago in the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, if you heard about that when Congress passed it. So this is a different source of funding it's a temporary thing. 2026 will be the last year that funding is available. So again, we're anticipating that you will get some of that funding next year. Though I haven't confirmed the exact dollar amount, we're using $110,000 on the spreadsheet, just based on previous years and other similar airports, but that would have to get confirmed by FAA. So that's a different funding source that's not usually available, but was something that Congress passed as a temporary way to fund a bunch of infrastructure projects around the country. So that's there. There's also other like buckets of funding that the FAA has, but they're less specific to each airport, and it's just like discretionary money that the FAA has to determine which projects to prioritize. So currently, based on limited amounts of that discretionary money, they've basically said that the discretionary money is going to primarily be focused on runway projects, prioritizing making all of the runway, keeping all the runways in good condition, because without a runway, you don't have an airport. So just so that you know, there is other buckets of money, but the easiest way to get projects done is to use that $150,000 of entitlement money that is specific to your airport, because then you're not competing with other airports who might have projects the FAA finds to be more important. So that's a brief overview. Let me know if you have questions. And
Is there
definitely something
state
we can
money?
revisit as we get into more projects. What was that?
Is there state money?
There is. So yes, Washington State Department of Transportation Aviation Division, WashDOT Aviation for short. They also will fund projects. You can ask them for like a standalone state grant. Again, funding is limited. It's hard to get most of the time. But what is usually can get funded by the state is if you get, so backing up, when you get a grant from the FAA, it's going to fund 90% of your project. They expect the local sponsor, which in this case would be the city of Ocean Shores, to fund the remaining 10% as like, a gesture of, yes, we find this project important enough. We will invest 10%. The FAA picks up 90%. What WashDOT Aviation will typically do is give you a grant to cover an additional 5%. So then you would have 90% of your project funded by FAA, 5% of your project funded by WashDOT Aviation, and 5% of your project that has to be from your own local funds. So that's kind of a standard setup on most of our projects that we do, is that 95-5 funding split.
Okay.
So again,
So
that's
this-
also shown like on the spreadsheet and the other like pages that have like the little sketch. That's shown on there too. It's a little hard to read on the scan that I have, but it's showing like a split of FAA, state, and local funding for those dollar amounts that are on there. If you can see that.
But, okay, so Melanie, those dollar amounts that you just spoke about are directed towards those airport projects, which are primarily suggested by this body.
Yes. Yeah. Then there's limitations. The FAA has, as with any federal agency, a host of rules about what is eligible for funding. So yes, the airport gets to say what they want on the list, but it has to fit within the rules of what's eligible and justified. So that may mean, like I have another airport I'm working for in Wilbur, Washington. Their absolute highest priority was to drill a well because they wanted water on their airport. FAA will not fund that. So it doesn't go on the list because the FAA just says that's not eligible. So yeah, it comes from you guys, but it does also have to be a project the FAA will actually participate in, which is usually things like pavement, nav aids, lighting, that sort of stuff.
Okay, well, I think that if, you know, the guys on the airport committee here, if we got together, we'd have no difficulty coming up with a list. I mean, right at the top of my head, our traffic circle is crumbling and falling apart. What else have we got?
It's not even in the official right spots.
Yeah.
But I think the top of our list, my opinion, is the AWAS.
Oh, absolutely.
I know.
And that is there. Are there any that you have disagreements with in looking at this list already, that should be taken off?
With the caveat that this list is required to be turned in pretty immediate. And that's why we felt it was important for you guys to at least see it, because it might be where you have more input and review time. The next go around, because she does need to turn this in like pretty much now.
Okay,
What's the number one item there? I don't know.
AWAS. No, the AWAS, I think, is a serious
That's all we
thing,
care
yeah,
about.
that's.
So that's the biggest thing is.
So can we turn this in now as is, and then we can adjust it later for later years? Are we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've been waiting for that, and then I can get this back to you. Okay?
Oh. You lost the fireman.
Yes.
He wasn't part of the board meeting, was he?
So that's what we were kind of waiting on was the committee okay with
Yeah.
this being the number one essentially, because if we get funding, this will be what happens.
Yes.
I just didn't want to submit that without talking to them,
Yes.
so, but it is due.
Since 2008, I've been an AWAS.
So you're gonna finally get your dream,
Finally get it.
yeah.
No, I think that from a, you know, pilot point of view, from a safety point of view, that AWAS is, there's no discussion.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay,
All right,
And
camera.
so does that, so for what Ron brought up on a different level, isn't that something you needed for this
Did you find that?
IFR?
Oh, the ILS.
ILS.
Yeah, that's instrument landing system.
Yeah, we'll never get one of those.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that would be, I mean, if I could wait one and have an ILS, sure, that'd be great.
Right up, right, you need a $500,000 lighting system.
I'm not sure that Oakland still has an ambulance.
It does.
It says,
I know they
I flew it the other day.
they changed.
So does anybody have any questions for Melanie or?
she's on the clock here.
I could let Melanie go.
No, no more.
Okay, that's all I needed.
turn it in.
We appreciate you, Melanie. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right,
All
have a
right,
good,
good to see you.
have a good weekend.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, so that finishes off items number,
So we're,
the last of it, 6 and 7.
so we're canceling the AWAS, is that what you said, Bill?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Canceling the AWAS?
No.
Okay, a few more items left on the airport appreciation days. I got a couple of things that I want to bring up. Let's just finish the list. Yeah, item 16, the police department, fire department. That's Mike is gonna be, Sarah, you're gonna be working with Mike on that one.
Yeah, and Chief Logan for the police department.
Yeah, all right, well, that definitely stays on. EAA participation. Yeah. You know. Jerry, what you.
Well, I'm just gonna, put the word out, some chapters, everything on Green River, why Covington and that, so. I'll just do a verbal that this is going on, if they wanna,
Is there,
you know,
is there much of a group at Shelton?
Yeah, I think there is,
Mhm.
yeah.
Get the.
So basically that, it doesn't mean they're gonna have a booth there, obviously, it means they're just gonna,
if they wanna come in and.
Bring their
show us
airplanes, show them off.
Yeah.
Bring the airplane, show them off.
okay, thanks, Jerry, so you're gonna do that, Shelton, could you do the Shelton one too?
Sure.
Okay. And, RC flyers.
So they're confirmed.
So we'll need to, as we get there, we'll need to pick a time that they're gonna do the flight demos, issue a note of airport closed.
I'm assuming that will be a part of safety. plan.
Safety plan, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that, part of the list, yeah. The guard, Stuart,
Item 20. I will keep on them. And if we can't get a helicopter, like I said, maybe we can get a 155 millimeter cannon up there. And I told them if they had recruiters that wanted to come and stand around, and whatever they're displaying,
okay,
that'd be okay.
Well, that's That's what they get. Right, recruiting.
Well, that really good about supporting the community.
I thought, yeah.
Now, Mike had mentioned Airlift Northwest, or somebody did.
Yeah, so after this meeting, I will email, I've already emailed Chief Ritter, but I will just follow up with Chief Mandela on the Life Flight and Airlift Northwest.
And we don't need both of them, we just need one.
Yeah, he'll
You'll figure it out.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, and the radio, Sarah, you're gonna talk to them.
Yeah, they're ready to, they've been talking.
Okay, one item that to me was, we've got quite a few groups coming in. They're gonna be active at different times. When all these people show up at the gate and they're saying, where do I go? We're gonna need some sort of a map of the apron and down area.
That'll be the safety plan. That's gotta be the safety plan.
plan.
Even safety.
Okay. Good. And last item I've got is what I've been calling the brochure. Single sheet of paper explaining everything, got some nice pictures on it. For distribution. Who makes it?
Well,
You got this fancy color
Is
print.
that your job, Sarah, or somebody in the city?
The city will take care of it.
City will take care of it. All right, well, once you get that, give me a stack of them.
How many copies do you think we need?
Good question.
100,
Least,
well, how many airports? are
Not,
you gonna
not 500.
how many was needed in a day? With full tanks. Shelton, Bremerton, Payne. Arlington. Crest, maybe,
do? Port Townsend?
Can't do this.
oh, Olympia, Port Townsend.
Doesn't need to be one day.
Can't do Chris, why can't you do Chris?
I don't know if Crest is still, open or not. I know there was an issue with the,
The trees. Every time I go to Crest. lift up way.
When do you want these
Crest,
by?
Airport?
Yeah, Chris. Right.
yeah, and there was an issue with the ownership of the airport.
That comes up pretty quick,
Yeah,
so.
When do you want these by?
Yeah, she has,
Let's see, August 24th, working backwards, I'll need them, oh. You know, weather will lock us in for a long time. August 1st.
okay.
The shoot for July 15.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Bill is more July 15th.
I was thinking about our next airport board meeting should be right around then.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next and last thing.
Okay,
We got a ton of stuff on our plate here.
let me
And time
do
is
this,
getting
cause
short.
I complained so much it actually happened. Let me get on.
Putin issues nuclear warning, did you see that?
Scared.
What was it?
Cause this is all of the holdup. Is having this room, cause we're required. So. Now this room's online,
Okay.
so when do you wanna do your next meeting?
Friday the 12th?
That's maybe, I think more like Monday the 15th might be good.
Monday the 15th?
Yeah, that seems to be good.
Okay, either one works for me.
So you could do, let me look. Monday could be done. Monday cannot, I have to do the LID auction in here.
Okay,
We could do the morning on the 12th though, That's wide
let me
open.
check my calendar.
When you say morning, what do you mean?
anywhere from 8 AM to 12:15 PM.
Okay.
Why not Friday the 5th?
Friday the 5th, you
Do
could
you
do
guys
it,
have everything done by then?
It's 2 weeks from
We
now.
could- yeah, we
The
could,
reason I'm pushing for more meetings is you guys. So you get to the event, more all piles up and nothing's getting done.
yeah, you might get to the 5th and then say we need another one on the 12th,
Okay. Let me take a look at the 5th for me.
July,
And the only thing I'm, you
the
know,
day after.
it's the day after, the 4th, that's the only thing. I would not, yeah. You could do July
Starts
8th,
at 10 AM.
Monday, July 8th.
Yeah,
Or is that-
Oh, it goes till 4, you're right.
Yeah, but all of the books will be in here.
Yeah.
So there'll be no place to sit.
Well, you could do, what about the eighth?
That's what I'm thinking, maybe the 8th at 10 o'clock,
Monday the eighth,
yeah.
Monday the eighth?
works for me.
And you could be on Zoom if you can't
Zoom?
make it in person. Monday,
Too early in the morning, please, Stuart.
I did it on Zoom in my bathroom.
I'll have already been here
Yeah,
since
don't-
5 a.m., so
Just do it by voice.
Designated.
Monday, July 8th at 10 a.m. That helps, because when they're, I can just go back and do an agenda, that's easy peasy.
Sure.
All right, I think we're getting down to the end of it here. Anything else before we review action items?
I'm good.
Okay. Oh boy, we got it here. Sarah, you're gonna publish an action item list and distribute it?
Yeah, I can just go back and
Yes,
fix this up,
exactly.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess the only action item then is to each person will take care of what they have on the list, once they get it. We meet again back here in 2 weeks and 2 days, thereabouts.
The day we picked to meet here,
July 8th, 10 o'clock.
July 8th.
Anything else before we close it up? Motion,
I move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.